China. Hey, let's go. Second largest economy, tons of projects all around the world, and now AI. It's like that old movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There are tons of different AIs in China, and we don't even know about most of them. But I found some that you can try right now without too much hassle. And in this video, I will show you the best Chinese alternatives to ChatGPT that are actually better, compare them to one another, explain how you can access them, and much more. Maybe you didn't know this, but in China there is a big trend of standalone apps that cram in loads of features. So it's no shock that the first big tool here, Doubao, does exactly that. It's a single app you have to install on your phone or computer. There's no web version, and it works almost like its own mini browser with tabs. When you open it, 2 tabs are already there by default, both connecting you to an AI assistant. But the entire interface is in Chinese. I tried to find a language switch for about 20 minutes, but had no luck, so you might want to keep Google Translate handy. Once you dive in though, can do a ton of stuff. Has web search, write-in help, image generation, read-in mode for documents, coding features, voice calls, and website assist. The web search part is basically an AI spin on Google, and with a regular and academic mode for digging through scientific papers and articles. The write-in mode feels like ChatGPT, but with some extras. Can handle files and links as references, browse the web, and work directly with your documents. Plus, there are handy shortcuts for things like writing articles, emails, or other text formats. It even has its own version of Canvas. When it comes to image generation, Doubao works a lot like the popular AI art tools we know, DALL-E, Midjourney, etc. You type in a prompt, but it can also edit images you upload, remove backgrounds, take objects out, or do in painting to fill gaps or fix details. You can change proportions, switch up the style, all in one place. The AI read-in feature lets you upload a batch of files like PDFs, Word docs, whatever, and chat with the app about them. It's pretty straightforward and can be super helpful. Code-in mode is another big win for some people. Lets you upload code files or even grab them straight from GitHub so you can get help or generate code with a little AI magic. I'm not a dev, but I've seen what others have created using Doubao, and it's actually impressive. It's so weird that almost nobody in the West seems to use it. AI call-in mode is basically a voice chat interface that can understand English surprisingly well. The voice sounds fairly natural too. For me though, I prefer doing that stuff in Geekademy, going to Talk to AI Master, clicking Call AI Agent, and chatting with my virtual self. What do you think about AGI?
AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence, is the holy grail of AI research.
But if you like Doubao's built-in approach, it's there. Finally, Web Assist is sort of a browser add-on that can read articles out loud, summarize them, or even create mind maps. Can be a bit hit or miss, but when it works, it's pretty cool. The only snag is you have to do your browsing inside Doubao itself to access it. Overall, I am blown away by how much they managed to fit into this single app, and it's free. There's basically everything you'd need for day-to-day AI tasks, and it does those tasks fairly well. All you have to do is download Doubao from its official site, install it, and you're set. That said, since it's all in Chinese, be prepared to stumble through a few menus or rely on Google Translate unless you're comfortable with the language. Another very similar tool is Quark. It's also a standalone browser app that's only in Chinese, and there is no way to change that language setting. Just like Doubao, it packs a bunch of features in one place, but Quark's layout and approach are a bit different, and in some ways more convenient. Right above the prompt window, there are buttons for everything it can do: image generation, coding, writing, research and papers, creating presentation, translation, file conversion, AI resume writing, and screenshot-based search. Each button leads to a special page inside Quark for that specific task. All these tools have their own cool angles. For example, the write-in mode has deep research built right in, and you can toggle it anytime. There's also one model to use, no switching between different models, but you can turn on DeepSeek if you want, which takes you to the DeepSeek website. The same idea applies to all the buttons below. Each opens a fresh page for whatever feature you pick. Quark also handles loads of file types, even videos, which some versions of ChatGPT can can do. Yes, I'm talking about you, O1. All these tools can technically help you run a business, help with sales, copy, and so on, but I would rather use OmniSend. OmniSend is a marketing automation tool built specifically for e-commerce. It helps online businesses gather leads and increase sales through fun sign-up forms, built-in discount codes, and reminders for abandoned carts. You can connect with customers via email, SMS, or push notifications, all from one platform, ensuring you reach them on the channels they prefer. There's advanced segmentation, real-time analytics, and over 250 email templates to keep your brand on point. You also get ready-made workflows for abandoned carts, welcome series, and browse abandonment, which can be customized with no coding needed. Plus a handy product picker feature, pulls items straight from your store, and you can collect and showcase product reviews for added credibility. Even on the free plan, you are covered by 24/7 email and live chat support. If you want a strong yet user-friendly way to grow your online store, consider giving OmniSend a try. Check the link below to learn more. As for the features themselves, they do pretty much the same things Doubao does. The image generation tools work the same way, though the controls are laid out a bit differently. The final images look pretty similar in quality too. Coding mode lets you import only project files, so there's no direct GitHub option. Writing mode comes with shortcuts, plus dedicated buttons for copying, improving, shortening, or expanding the text. Everything else works exactly how you'd expect, though getting around can feel tricky if you can't read Chinese. Once you get the hang of it, it becomes smooth as butter. One thing I really like about Quark is that it's less invasive than Doubao. It doesn't stick an icon in your menu bar or pop up with any random images. It just sits in the background until you need it. No signups required, no extra steps, just open it up and start exploring. I almost left this one out because everyone has been talking about it non-stop. By now, most people know about DeepSeek, but if you've somehow been offline for the past 3 months, here's a quick recap of what it can do. DeepSeek is basically ChatGPT R1 but free, and in many ways even better. It handles general writing tasks like rephrasing, rewriting, and brainstorming ideas. It's just as good at logical reasoning, supports English, and can even work with files, although the file types have to be specific: text files, docx files, Excel spreadsheets, or images. DeepSeek can read text from these files and images, then process that text for you. This holds true for both the web version and the mobile app. DeepSeek is also pretty solid with coding, whether you want to create a simple HTML page layout, write a Python script for graphs, or even craft a small game in JavaScript can help you out. One cool thing is that you can preview projects right inside DeepSeek, especially with JavaScript examples. It basically does everything ChatGPT can do, except for a few minor things. Technically, it's supposed to handle web searches, but that feature never works for me. It's always marked unavailable. Plus, it doesn't do image generation at all because there's no built-in DALL-E or anything like that. For a lot of users though, that's not a big deal because DeepSeek can run locally on your own computer. In our 30-minute guide, I show you exactly how to set that up. The only real downside is that DeepSeek is often overloaded. The servers can't keep up with all the demands, so sometimes you'll wait around 5 minutes just to get a single reply. Still, if you can deal with a bit of waiting, DeepSeek is a powerful, free alternative to ChatGPT that covers a ton of writing and coding needs. Maybe saying DeepSeek can't generate images wasn't totally accurate because its creators have also released Janus, an open source image generation model. And yes, you can run it locally. And yes, it has the same benefits as DeepSeek, meaning it's basically free and competes well with other models out there. Accessing Janus can be a bit tricky though. Since the model is public and open source, there is no single main website where you can just go and use it. You kind of have to search for community-run sites where someone has kindly hosted the model. I managed to find one, but since the interface can vary from site to site, I will just focus on what Janus can do. It can definitely generate images. It also supports different styles, but you'll have to manually type in the style you want. It follows prompts pretty well. You can also pick a static seed for all your images if you want them to be consistent, and you can adjust the size of your output. It can enhance images too, though I didn't see a huge difference when I tested it. If you're curious, you can try out yourself and see if it's worth it. Personally, I prefer a simpler way of generating images. I just open Geek Academy, head to AI Art Studio and type /imagine plus my prompt. Then I get my image. Easy as that. All the usual prompt and tips, work just fine here, and the results are super reliable. And that's only one of many AI tools we have at Geek Academy. We even have an AI tool finder you can chat with to find the best tool for whatever you need, or you can voice chat with a virtual version of me. You just go to our special channel, click the link, and start talking. That's alongside a ton of educational materials, prompt and guides, tool collections, exclusive videos, and news reports with in-depth analysis. We really want Geek Academy to be the best AI hub out there, so click the link in the description and join us. And don't forget the code AIGeek20 for 20% off your first month. I'm not saying Janus lacks quality. Overall, it's pretty good, but it's definitely not the leading image model in the industry. There are some models on par with DALL-E or even better, but they're either locked behind certain walls or require a Chinese phone number to use. If you do have one, I will drop the name later in the video. Janus can also read images, which means you can ask it to explain a meme, interpret a formula, or identify an object. Still, I mainly think of it as an image generator, mostly because using it for other stuff is a bit cumbersome. You usually have to fiddle with parameters or work through clunky interfaces, and that's not for everyone. But considering this model is so small, can run locally, and still produce great results, QW is a model from Alibaba, and it's quite cool. It might not be on DeepSeek's level, but it's still impressive. It's a free model you can download and run locally, and it has 32 billion parameters. When it comes to answer quality, it's about as good as DeepSeek, but it can be slower. On the bright side, because it's less famous, it doesn't get slammed with traffic like DeepSeek does, so you don't have to wait around forever. QW can also do web searches, and it actually works, unlike DeepSeek's search feature, which is often unavailable. On the flip side, the version I tried couldn't handle files. Still, the ability to do live web search during reasoning already makes QW better than O1 and O1 Pro, which can't do that. It can also handle both reasoning and web search at the same time, and it feels a lot like DeepSeek in how it interacts. QW even shows you its thought process, and it writes in a very simple style. Another cool feature is called artifacts, which basically lets you run small chunks of code. For example, QW wrote a mini calculator to show me what these artifacts are. If I switch to a lighter version of QW, I can also generate images and videos. The only customization I really have there is the aspect ratio, and it does take a while to spit out any results, but the final images and videos are pretty decent in quality. All in all, without doing deep comparison, I can say QW is quite reliable, both in how it responds and the logic behind its answers. Sure, it might need some fine-tuning and polish, but it's definitely good enough to keep on your radar. Another solid alternative to ChatGPT made in China is Kimi. It's basically the O1 model, but better, for two key reasons. It has internet search and deep reasoning, and you can turn them both on at once to get a real deep research package. Aside from that, Kimi is pretty bare bones. The interface is simple with almost no buttons or switches, but there are still a couple of cool features. One is common phrases, which are pre-made prompts you can save and use anytime. What's neat is that these prompts can be pretty big, and you can add a special keyword to quickly insert an entire prompt. Kimi also supports a bunch of file types, images, text, documents, PDFs, presentations, you name it. If you click a certain spot, you'll open the workbench where you can manage and view your files in the chat, although you can't delete them, which is a slight downside. Kimi is totally free, and you just need to sign in with your phone number. It can be any phone number, not just Chinese one, so anyone can give it a try. It's a good, simple, and reliable tool that's easy to use, and it even has a desktop app plus a mobile app for convenience. If you're looking for a hassle-free option with both internet search and deep reasoning, Kimi might be right up your alley. Now I will give each the standard list of questions to test its reasoning, accuracy, multimodality, and so on. In total, there will be 7 prompts. 1 for general understanding to establish the baseline, 2 for math, 1 for geometry, 2 for coding, and 1 more for reasoning. This should be enough to see how the models handle the same tasks. No DeepSeek in this comparison. Go watch our huge guide to this tool. It's packed with insights and useful tips. The first task is super simple, counting letters in a word. Every tool passes it equally well, no issues there, but Quark suddenly decided to answer in Chinese. After a quick prompt tweak, everything got back on track. The second question was also quite simple, finding the area of a triangle. Every grader could do it. Doubao doesn't go into much detail, while other AIs give plenty of reasoning for their actions. All give correct answers, but Quark and Kimi format the responses in a simple, direct way. Quen, on the other hand, adds a lot of extra fluff. The next math test is more difficult and complex, so make sure you have reasoning turned on if you try it yourself. I won't go too deep into each model's reasoning and will focus on answers because they are slightly different but also lead to the same conclusion. Doubao's response is simple and nicely formatted, just enough calculations with the final result in bold. Quark adds a big chunk of text and no highlight for the final answer. Quen mixes both approaches, lots of explanation plus highlighted solution. Kimi is my favorite. It provides the calculations but also a clearly marked final result, which makes it easy to skim. Finding these tools wasn't easy. First, I went to AI Tool Finder in Geekademy and asked for Chinese AI tools. Then I tried them one by one, and this tool finder is a really good way to track down the exact tool you need. You can talk with it, ask about tools, etc. Super convenient. Geometry test is where models really start to differ in quality. I'm not throwing them a super hard prompt, but it has multiple steps. So it tests if the AI can handle things one by one. And based on the answers, some tools aren't that good at this. Anyway, Doubao's response is excellent here. All 3 questions in the prompt are answered properly one by one. Quark decided to skip the first question and only answered the last 2. Its numbers for H and Q are also very different from Doubao's. Quen did at least answer all the questions, but its formula also differs. Kimi's formatting is great, and its result lines up with Quark's, so we'll count it as correct. Maybe they will redeem themselves at coding. Python code, easy. Doubao once again gives no explanation, just the code. I kinda like that straight approach, no fluff. Quark includes a code snippet plus a pretty long explanation. Its code also looks the simplest and cleanest of all. Quen froze halfway, then reloaded after a few minutes. The second time it worked fine. Kimi, as usual, had no problems, though the explanation felt a bit too long. JavaScript code was a similar story. This time Quen didn't freeze. All the answers were good, but it's a shame none of them switched to canvas view, even though some tools actually have one. Lastly, the logic test. I didn't expect this, but all models struggled with it. Lots of heavy reasoning. Quen froze again, same old story. Doubao's answer is nice and clean. Quark got lost in his own reasoning and locked up, so I had to redo it. Kimi was great as always, and Quen eventually got there. Overall, they all managed logical tasks, but deep reasoning can overload Quen and Quark, so if you have a super complex puzzle, I would pick Doubao or Kimi. Doubao works best when you need a bunch of built-in tools, while Kimi is great if you want a simpler, no-frills experience. The list of tools could have been longer, but many cool options are locked behind the Chinese phone number. From a user's point of view, most people watching this won't bother getting one or trying to simulate one, plus dealing with all that verification. But if you're ready to jump through those hoops, here are a couple of tools you might want to try. Ernie 4.5 and X1 come from Baidu, and if we believe the hype, they look like serious contenders. Ernie 4.5 is supposed to go head-to-head with ChatGPT 4.5, while X is aimed at DeepSeek R1 and GPT-01 territory. Just like Janus, there are other Chinese-made image generators out there. Tongyi Wanxiang is one such tool. Manus is probably the most exciting tool I want to try out. It seems to be the first real AI agent that can plan tasks on its own, carry them out, and deliver results for different kinds of work. So will China really take over the AI market? We just saw Chinese AI tools that can match Western ones in many ways, and sometimes even outperform them. Having one app that packs AI plus a bunch of extra features might be more useful than a tool that only covers part of what you need. And if you have to pay for a model that's not any better than the free Chinese version, that could slow progress in the West. Personally, I liked all the Chinese tools I tried, but to grow in a big way, they need to be available worldwide and have English interfaces, at least as a start. ChatGPT isn't doomed, but it's not sitting pretty either. Who knows what Comrade G might reveal next? DeepSeek was already a huge step forward, and we don't just have a full guide on DeepSeek here on the channel, we also have plenty of prompt tips over at Geek Academy. So click the link below to join as a member. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.